welcome aboard to LiveRead LA, Chapter 7, I think. Thank you all for coming. How many of you have been here before? So how many of you haven't? Excellent. Well, welcome to the people who haven't. This is what we do. My name's Tim. I'm the guy who sends you the notes and organises, and Melanie is the other half of this operation who's running around. We are very grateful that you're here, and we're very grateful for people who submit. We're also, tonight I'm being grateful about everything. We're very grateful, for the actors who show up tonight. And most importantly, we're very grateful for the two writers who were selected, Holiday and Josh. A round of applause for Holiday and Josh. And equally most important, we're very happy about our insider who's here, Ryan, who's lurking at the back, Ryan Condal from Colony. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan will be shredding your scripts shortly, once they've been performed. So basically, for those who haven't been before, funny how most of you are over here, that's why I'm looking for the first timers. What we do, in a second when I shut up, we're going to bring on the actors and do script number 1, which will be Bad Princess, by the way, actors. Bad Princess, Late Change. We're going to read it, it's going to be fantastic, and then Ryan and I will give some feedback. We'll come up on stage with Holiday, and we'll give some feedback, and then we'll turn it over to you guys. All we ask is there's a 2-minute time limit on your notes. We don't want anybody going on to a rant, and then there are a couple of other rules. We don't want any comments on the writer's ability as a writer. We just want all the focus to be on the actual script. And from a constructive point of view as to how we can make it better. That doesn't mean you have to be sugarcoating and saying, oh, it was awesome. That's not kind of useful. So it's okay to be like, you know what, that character I wasn't quite sure, or this scene, you know, maybe this, or all that kind of stuff. That's what we want. The only other thing, we also we want to discourage pitches. So if you hear a script and let's say it's a Western, we don't want anybody to say, this is awesome, but it'd be great if it was set in space. That's not super useful as a note. We found. So I just know that because the writer has made the choices that they have made, we are here to sort of honour and respect that and try and help them make it better. Because unlike other things, this is sort of a workshop-y type thing as well as entertainment. We are all about the rewrite. People who are writers here, put your hands up. Right? Keep your hand up if you're really into the rewrites. Yeah, you're lying. Whoever's got their hand up. I mean, rewriting sucks. Ryan and I will talk about that later on. So we want to try and help. We want to try and create a bit of a community here. We're all about trying to embrace writing, embrace the creativity. We hope that more writers will come and feel that they can take some creative risks and see how it goes with us, and we'll give feedback. So anyway, so they're the rules. I've thanked everyone. I think that's all I need to do. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Excellent. So let's start. Bad Princess actors, come on up. Thank you, David. The only thing I ask for actors is if you put your hand up if you have multiple roles when it's your turn with different characters. You have multiple roles, great. When you're doing a new role, just put your hand up so that we can keep track. Because there are some fun specific I guess so. Holiday. Do you need anybody sitting next to characters that will work best for you?
The two monsters that talk to each other a lot. Mikey and Uncle, they were next to each other.
So we've got,
Mikey and Uncle.
yes, so let's put them together. So go ahead and stand up, scoot down, good. Oh, we're good.
It's a good chance. All right.
Bad Princess by Holiday Kinard. Interior Goldfarb home day. Cindy, 24, independent, a hustler, great cheekbones below a messy bun, walks around a lavish room.
There's an 80-inch TV, probably need like 3 guys to get it out. Mikey, call your brother. A Sonos speaker system, a painting that looks like shit. Like it's literally a painting of shit, I think, so it's like probably super expensive.
Cindy hears a door open and close, off screen.
Maria?
Shit.
Exterior street day. We see a white van, the kind usually used for kidnapping, parked outside. Interior van continuous. Mikey and Alfredo, big goons with small brains, sit and wait, speaking into a walkie-talkie.
The painting sucks, we get it.
Interior Goldfarb home continuous.
The homeowner is here. The hot yoga teacher must have switched classes. Call the cleaning agency. Say you're Maria's son and she's sick.
Cindy grabs a rag from the kitchen counter and starts to clean the floor.
And if the real Maria shows up, grab her.
Sue Ellen Goldfarb, a rich divorcee in her 40s dressed like a sorority whore in her 20s, enters.
Hola, Maria. Make sure to wipe Minnie's butthole.
Sue Ellen points to her own for
So
clarity.
she doesn't soil the white carpet. Comprende?
See.
Sue Ellen grabs a coconut water out of the fridge and exits.
God, I hope Minnie's a dog.
Interior van continuous.
Not me. I hope it's a little kid with mental problems. I fucking hate dogs. They're like little tiny wolves, and one day they're gonna rise up and, oh, fuck, it's Maria.
A middle-aged woman, Maria, approaches the house. Alfredo grabs her and pulls her into the van.
Hola, Maria. We're not gonna hurt you. We're just gonna rob your boss.
Oh, good.
Intercut between the home and the van.
Everything okay?
Just keep going.
All right, there's some platinum candlesticks, a very classy vase.
What's that?
Cindy is surprised to see Sue Ellen behind her.
Oh, I'm just listing the things I'm going to clean next, so I no forget.
Girls, let's go.
Lola and Jordan Goldfarb, 7-year-old mean girls, cross to the door along with their battered nanny. Lola looks directly at Cindy as she squirts some of her organic juice box on the carpet.
How much do you get paid?
That's not an appropriate thing to ask, Jordan.
It's fine. They should understand their place in the world. She makes $411 a week.
That's less than our allowance.
The nanny looks like she may cry. Sue Ellen notices the juice stain.
Oh, Maria, you missed a spot.
Can I say something?
No.
I am a person. I have worth and ideas, and
Can you make me a sandwich?
you're just gonna throw it up? Fuck this! Fuck this whole thing!
Interior van continuous. Mikey and Alfredo see the nanny exit the house and take off running.
Yes. Go. Don't look back.
Interior Goldfarb home continuous. Sue Ellen also watches from a window.
Maria?
Oh, I'm actually covering for Maria. She's sick.
Oh. It's probably all that Spanish food. You know beans are a legume.
Right.
Well, I need you to take the girls to Whimsy World.
You want me to take your children somewhere?
Yes. Be back at 9 and make sure Lola eats. I have to go. I have yoga.
Sue Ellen exits.
You guys catch that?
Interior van continuous. Mikey and Alfredo are freaking.
Yeah? What are we gonna do?
Interior Goldfarb home continuous.
You can't really mess this part up. Just take the expensive shit and leave.
Lola and Jordan approach.
Mother says you have to take us to Whimsy World.
Oh, I heard. Did she say I have to have fun, or can I complain about this the entire time?
You just have to carry our stuff.
You're a cleaning lady. I think it'd be weird if you had fun.
Got it. So why do you guys want to go to Whimsy World anyway? Aren't you like 30?
We're going to see the fairest of them all show. We pick who the best princess is, and then she gets crowned.
We're really good at judging princesses.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Interior van continuous. Mikey and Alfredo see Cindy and the girls exit the house and get into a fancy sports car.
Have fun at Whimsy World.
Interior sports car continuous.
Shut up.
Cindy drives off. Interior sports car shortly after. Lola and Jordan jam out to something way too sexual for their age.
Who's your favorite princess?
Oh, I think that they're all stupid.
Why?
Well, they don't do anything and they lie to kids.
Princess Carabella is not a liar.
Well, sure she is. In the real world, pretty little orphans don't marry princes, they become strippers.
Interior Goldfarb home shortly after. Mikey, Alfredo, and Tony, Mikey's brother, 22, a big guy, enter.
TV first? Sure. You got the base?
Mikey and Tony both grab the same part of the TV.
Dude, what the fuck?
I'm grabbing the base.
Those are the legs.
TVs don't have legs.
What the fuck are those then?
You know, feet. How about you grab the left side, Mikey grab the right, and I'll do the feet.
Mikey and Tommy go for the same side.
Motherfucker, who's left?
I've already stole way more things than you.
Maria is in the kitchen loading up on china. Exterior Whimsy World theme park, same time. Cindy, Lola, and Jordan enter the park.
All right, who wants to play Cancer Kid so we can skip all the lines? I found a little hat in the car.
Cindy pulls a beanie out of her purse.
Maybe one of your mom's boyfriends is a skater, maybe?
I'm not wearing that. We're here to take pictures.
What? I thought you were here to celebrate the power of imagination.
Girls just look at her.
Okay, fine, then let's go judge some princesses.
They start walking.
How's it look? Do we just like heckle them or something?
There's an app.
Of course there is.
Interior Goldfarb home shortly after. Mikey, Alfredo, and Tony have managed to pick up the TV and are slowly crossing to the door. Minnie, a tiny dog, white and very puffy, appears and sits quietly before them.
Dude, what the fuck?
Ah, shit. It's the little doggy. You don't get it, man.
Mikey's really freaking out.
Fuck!
You guys got it for a second?
No!
Alfredo lets go of the TV to pet the dog.
Don't touch it. It'll eat all your fingers.
Alfredo pets it.
No! I can't! I can't!
Can't what?
Mikey drops the TV and it lands right on his foot.
Ah, fuck! Oh my God!
He falls to the ground in pain. Minnie, the dog, jumps on him and sweetly licks his face. Alfredo steps away.
You all right, dude?
No! Why?
The sound of sirens are heard.
Cops. Shit, we gotta go. But I think they're for us. Yeah, no shit. No, I mean, I called 911 from Mickey's foot. You called the cops on us?
You're a fucking idiot!
Sirens are getting closer.
Get his other arm. Let's get out of here.
Tony and Alfredo help Mikey limp out of the house. Maria runs out behind them, arms full of stuff.
I need you to give me a ride.
Interior Whimsy World Royal Court exhibit later. Cindy, Lola, and Jordan exit the princess meet and greet area. They walk through an exhibit of whimsy princess memorabilia in glass cases.
She didn't sound like the princess in the movie at all.
But she was really skinny.
Yeah, that's true.
Cindy checks if any of the cases are open. It's worth a shot. She stops when she sees the centerpiece of the exhibit, the Crown du Whimsy. It is protected by cameras, thick glass, and tiny lasers. Lola and Jordan keep walking.
Come on, I'm not getting in service in here.
I think this thing's real.
The girls reluctantly come look at the crown.
It looks rusty.
The girls run off. Cindy reluctantly follows. Exterior Whimsy World theme park evening. A crowd has formed, preparing to watch a show in the front of the castle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the royal coronation will begin momentarily.
We have to get a spot or all the fat people will be in our way.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Just save me a seat.
What if we get stolen?
I'll replace you with a look-alike kid from the orphanage so I don't get fired. It's fine.
A beat. The girls look a little concerned.
I'm kidding. Your mom will pay the ransom. You'll be fine. Go sit down. I'll be right there.
The girls go find a seat. Cindy lights up a cigarette and crosses her long legs.
Turkey legs.
Cindy turns around and sees Nick, 25 and possibly too cool for this place.
People pay good money to see these legs, jackass.
I bet. But probably not as much as they pay for these overpriced turkey legs that I am selling for my job.
Cindy realizes Nick is working a turkey leg stand.
Oh,
My day job. I'm a writer.
right. Well, carry on.
Cindy puts out her cigarette and goes to find Lola and Jordan. Exterior Whimsy World theme park shortly after. On stage, a grown man in a squire's outfit holds a fake scroll.
And the fairest of them all is Princess Moonface.
An ever so slightly overweight girl in a ball gown walks onto the stage, waving. This is Rachel, dressed as Princess Moonface.
Oh my goodness. Thank you ever so much.
More like fattest of them all.
Hey,
The girls start looking at their phones. On stage, the squire puts a crown on Princess Moonface's head.
is that the crown from the case, the rusty one?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, that's not real. They aren't putting anything that valuable on some stupid girl's head.
They didn't hear her. They were texting. Cindy watches as Princess Moonface curtsies and fireworks go off. She takes out her phone and dials a number.
Hey, let me know how we did today.
Cindy notices the time on her phone.
Let's go. I gotta get to work.
You're at work?
No, my real job.
It's 8:30 at night.
Then I'm gonna be late. Come on.
Exterior Bad Apple Strip Club night. Establishing shot of a sad building that overcompensates with an extreme amount of neon. Cindy enters. Interior Bad Apple Strip Club dressing room shortly after. A few other strippers, including Jenny, tough, lots of tattoos, are getting ready. Cindy sets her stuff down.
You're late and you smell like Lysol.
Yeah, well, I hear men are into it. It reminds them of their mothers or something.
Rhonda enters. She's slightly older and has pictures of kids on her mirror.
Speaking of,
Sorry. Max would not go to bed until I read him his damn train book. I think he might be gay.
Because he likes trains?
Well, it's a boy train.
Oh.
But I don't want to get too excited just yet. I mean, I'll love him either way.
Interior Bad Apple Strip Club stage shortly after. Rhonda has finished the dance.
Let's give it up for Mama Rhonda.
The audience hoots and hollers. A bouncer helps Rhonda collect the bills from the stage.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Her Royal Hotness, Princess.
Cindy saunters out and starts dancing. She notices a hot customer watching her. She holds eye contact while she dances. Interior Bad Apple Strip Club dressing room later that night. Cindy and some of the other strippers hang out between dances. There's a knock.
Come in!
A bouncer enters.
Cindy, private dance in room 3.
Is it the hot guy from table 40?
No, 2 big guys.
Damn.
She touches up her makeup. Interior Bad Apple Strip Club private room shortly after. Mikey and Alfredo are waiting. The bouncer opens the door and lets Cindy in. She poses seductively.
15 minutes.
Bouncer exits. Cindy drops her pose and sits down.
You know you have to pay for this, right? Which will probably be tough considering how badly you fucked up today.
There was a dog. What do you want from me?
That was not a dog. It was a few sentient cotton balls wearing a hair bow. I cleaned their fucking floors and I babysat. You know I'm not getting paid for that, right? They're not going to mail me a check. I need money, Mikey, not community service hours.
Look, I'm sorry.
Mikey's got an idea for our next hit.
Hell no.
Hey, just hear me out.
It's a good one.
Cindy sighs, giving in.
All right, you got me here for 10 more minutes. What is your next stupid idea?
Okay. So my buddy got busted for drugs last week. Good ones. I went to see him and I asked him where he left the drugs, because, you know, he wasn't using them. And he said the cops took him as evidence.
Bummer.
A beat.
I'm not following.
Well, so then I go home and I'm watching one of them cop shows. And they catch a cartel guy with a shit ton of cash. And they say they gotta log it into evidence.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that one too.
So then my little brother got arrested today for stealing some candy bars because he's fat. And when I pick him up at the station, I see that they got him a room and they call it evidence.
A beat.
It don't even got a lock on it.
You want to rob an evidence room at the police station.
They got drugs and cash in there.
Yeah, you know what else they got in there? Cops, like all of them.
But see, I got this cop costume from Halloween, and you do the slutty cop out there sometimes.
Great.
And
And if they ask who Officer Mo Donuts is and why this partner's tits are out, well, we'll just say that we're new. Jesus Christ.
so help us think of something better.
There's a knock at the door.
1 minute.
I'll work on it.
All right, cool. We're gonna get high and watch the Animal Channel. You wanna come by after work?
The bouncer enters. Cindy strikes a pose.
I'm really hoping I have plans.
Interior, nice apartment later that night. Cindy and the hot customer from the club stumble in through the front door, making out hardcore. Interior, nice apartment, day. The hot customer is asleep in the bed. Cindy quietly opens a dresser drawer and finds a pair of men's athletic shorts and a beanie. She then grabs a men's button-down shirt from the closet and goes into the bathroom. The hot customer wakes up. She leaves.
Here, are those my clothes?
Interior, Cindy and Mima's apartment shortly after. Cindy enters the shabby apartment she shares with her grandmother, Mima, in her 80s and asleep in front of the History Channel.
Hey.
Mima wakes up.
Oh, hey, what's the password to the internet again? I wrote it down in case I forgot, but then I forgot where I wrote it down.
Princess_of_pot.
Interesting choice for someone who only cooks lean cuisine.
The microwave beeps.
Oh, wait, I get it.
Lean cuisines were 2 for $5, which is basically how much I had left after paying the electric bill. Would you rather eat gourmet meals in the dark?
Interior, Cindy and Mima's apartment shortly after. They sit at the table finishing their meal.
You're drooling.
My sucker-upper is malfunctioning.
Cindy wipes the drool off Mima's face with a napkin.
Yeah, well, we'll have to take it in and get it fixed.
It's okay. I hear yours works good enough for the both of us.
Cute.
Interior, Cindy and Mima's apartment later. Cindy cleans up while Mima watches more History Channel.
And eventually, the 50 years worth of birthday jewels from Dalton were set on the crown to Windsor. It's an appropriate tribute to Dalton Whimsy's first wife, the original Whimsy princess.
What do you need to watch the History Channel for? Like, weren't you there?
Most of it, though I was on way too many hallucinogens to remember the 70s. We used to go
Wait,
out.
what?
Hallucinogens. Magic mushrooms.
No, the TV. Turn it up.
Mima does.
Worth an estimated $8 million. This historic piece can now be enjoyed by millions of families around
Cindy makes a call.
I've got our next project. Meet me at the club tonight.
Interior Bad Apple Strip Club private room that night. Mikey looks at a picture of the Crown du Whimsy on Cindy's phone.
So I win this stupid contest, swap the Crown to Whimsy with a fake, and before anyone notices, we'll sell it to some disgustingly rich person and move to Tahiti.
Beat.
I'm confused.
Don't you gotta work there to win the contest?
Yeah, but like, I'll have to work there for a little bit, but hey, it pays better than being a fake fucking cleaning lady.
But don't you gotta get hired to work there?
Yeah, there's an audition next weekend, and you don't need like a gown or anything. They just said wear comfortable clothes. Wait, you don't think I can do it?
I mean, no offense, but it's gonna take a lot more than a crown tattoo on your ass to convince people you're an actual princess.
I'm tall, thin, blonde. What am I missing?
They talk nice and twirl and shit. They help animals.
Cindy looks confused.
They have pretty fingers.
What?
Yeah, dainty. I don't know, you've seen the movies?
He totally hasn't.
I'll work on it. You guys just worry about that fake crown and the buyer, and I'll need to do some research.
Interior Cindy and Mima's apartment day. Cindy and Mima are watching Carol Belle, a classic Whimsy princess movie. It's a rags to riches tale starring a blonde in a blue gown. Maybe you've heard of it.
Oh, thank you, fairy godmother. What a beautiful dress.
I don't know. I think her little rag getup was hotter than this blue monstrosity. You can't even see her.
How come in the movies old people are always so happy?
This one's got this one, she's got magical powers and shit.
If I had magical powers, I'd buy some nice new towels.
Technically, disposable income is not a magical power, but if I happen to acquire it anytime soon, towels will be first on my list.
Of course the slipper fits. It's mine, your highness.
Will you marry me, girl with the tiny feet?
It's Carabelle.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Wait, so he loves her enough to marry her, but he doesn't think he'll recognize her.
At least he knows her shoe size. Can you say that about any of your boyfriends?
Cindy gets up and pours herself a drink.
Shoe shopping princes aren't really my type.
If some prince showed up at that door and asked you to marry him, you'd say yes in a heartbeat.
And become his royal baby vessel? Hell no.
Cindy takes her drink in one shot.
I'll get my own damn crown.
Exterior Whimsy World Training Facility, morning. Mikey's van parks. Interior Mikey's van continues. Cindy, Mikey, and Alfredo are inside.
Are you ready for this?
Almost.
Cindy opens a bottle of pills.
The hell are those?
Don't even worry about it.
You can't take them now.
Why not? I'll be the sleepy one.
Because nobody ever heard of no princess pill popper, that's why. Now put that shit away.
Cindy does, reluctantly, and gets out of the car. Exterior Whimsy World Training Facility continues. Mikey yells out to her.
Hey, go get him. And no pills till you're done.
Yeah, got it.
They start to drive off.
Break your legs!
Is that a threat?
Interior Whimsy World Training Facility entrance shortly after. A sign says, Whimsy Princess Auditions. Two auditionees wearing leggings and brightly colored tank tops walk by.
Oh my God, I know!
Been my dream my whole life.
Dropped out of college and moved across the country just to audition?
Interior Whimsy World Training Facility main room continues. They enter the main room, where hundreds of wannabe princesses wearing numbers sit on exercise mat flooring. Cindy enters. She's wearing sweats, shades, and a black crop top sweater that says, Slay. Her number is 202. She pauses, taking it all in. A bitchy girl on a cell phone pushes her out of the way.
I mean, the whole audition is really just a formality because I took 3 months off, which is so stupid. Like, I was on a yoga retreat. How much weight could I have gained?
Cindy and the bitchy girl find seats near each other and settle in. Cindy leans on a wall and falls asleep. Interior Whimsy World Training Facility main room later. Cindy wakes up. The bitch is still on her phone.
No way. I mean, 60% of them are like actually obese. It's a total train wreck. I saw someone with braces. Everyone knows this audition is like 60% toothpaste. And the chick next to me is literally wearing pajamas. Totally. Oh, we're starting. Okay, love you too, Mom. Bye.
Cindy grabs a water bottle and sprays Bitchy Girl's crotch area, making it look like she peed herself.
Oops, might be.
Bitchy Girl is in shock. Helen and Neil think the pitch-perfect podcast hosts. Approach the front of the room, followed by an assistant.
Good morning, ladies. When the assistant calls your number, please turn in your headshots, resumes, and dental records.
For part one, the assistant will then teach you a dance, and boy, are we excited to watch all 300 of you do it.
They exit. Interior Whimsy World Training Facility audition room later. Helen and Neil sit at a table with a CD player. Auditionee 1 does a cheesy dance to a cheesy song. She's really giving it her all, probably too much.
I wish we didn't make them dance. It's so hard to see their bottom teeth while they're moving.
The same song continues as we see more auditions. A pretty teen does the dance but keeps looking down. We reveal her stage mom is kneeling in front of the casting team and doing the moves with her. Auditionee 2 does the dance correctly, but no one can tell because she's making the craziest faces. A middle-aged woman just sort of sways in a ball gown she made herself.
Great. Yes.
Thank you.
The Bitchy Girl and her wet spot are up, and they're pretty good, I guess.
Did she relieve herself?
You know they get nervous.
But she already works here.
Helen also looks at the resume confused. Cindy enters. Helen and Neil aren't sure what to make of her.
Hello. Hi.
A beat.
She looks just like Carol Bell.
If Carol Bell married a rap star instead of a prince.
Cindy just sort of stands there.
Do you dance, 202?
Professionally.
Well, okay then.
He pushes play on the CD player. Cindy begins the same dance as the others, but super sexy. Like, suddenly the cartoon mermaid's lyrics have a whole new meaning. Interior Whimsy World Training Facility dressing room later. Cindy is in a makeup chair in the full Carol Bell getup, facing away from the mirror. The makeup artist, sweet, turns the chair around so Cindy can see herself. A beat.
Holy fucking shit. It's like if Miss America fucked a cupcake and gave birth inside of a snow globe.
Maybe don't talk in the audition. Just yes and no answers if possible.
Good call, less acting.
Interior Whimsy World Training Facility audition room later. Auditionee 1 enters dressed as Carol Bell.
Hello, princess.
Hello, I'm Princess Carabelle. I'm from France originally, and I have 2 mice friends / pets, and I live in a castle.
The pretty teen enters, also dressed as Carol Bell.
Good day.
Beat.
I am so deeply honored to be here.
Beat.
Being here and witnessing the magic firsthand has been truly troubling.
Beat.
Bumbling? What?
She lifts up her big skirt to reveal her stage mom.
Humbling.
The middle-aged woman enters as Carol Bell.
God made the fishes and the planets and the trees. She made the cows, and she made me.
Helen and Neil don't quite know what to do. Helen sort of claps. Cindy as Carol Bell enters.
Hi, Princess Carol Bell.
Cindy's not sure what to say, so she just curtsies. Helen and Neil are intrigued. Interior hallway moments later. Cindy exits the audition room. She goes straight for the bottle of pills in her bag and pops 3. Interior audition room shortly after. Helen and Neil's table is covered with headshots.
And what about 202?
I'm just not sure she's pure of heart. I don't know if she looks like a princess on the inside. I guess the magic is just missing for me.
But she has the perfect cheekbone placement and chin-to-nose ratio.
It's tough. Assistant!
Interior main room shortly after. The assistant finds Cindy passed out and still in her wig cap.
202, they want to see you.
Interior audition room 5 minutes later. Cindy enters slowly, in a bit of a daze and still wearing the wig cap.
202, we just want to see you show us magic.
What? I don't know any.
Just use your eyes.
To do what?
To evoke magic and whimsy.
Just look over there. See something magical.
Cindy stares blankly at a spot on the wall, pupils big and dilated, mouth slightly agape. In any other scenario, you'd probably give her $1 or call the police.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, color me convinced.
With my eyes?
No. You can go away now. Find the paperwork, people.
Welcome to Whimsy World.
And
That first step's a doozy, just so you know. I know. It's like,
Thank you, everyone. Anywhere you want to go. Yes. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Can I real quick say thank you guys? You were all really amazing.
Yes.
That was so fun.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks. I mean, you're incredibly brave to do this. One of the hardest parts of this job is laying your work out there to bear for everybody. And usually, it's just people sort of reading it quietly without you being aware of it, instead of reading it aloud. You know. So, much credit to you. I mean, you have I think you have a gift with dialogue. Like, I think, you know, particularly, you know, Cindy's stylings, you know, her character came through very clearly for me, which I think is good. She's your main protagonist. I would first actually pose a question to you. If you were to think of your movie tonally, I'm assuming these are the first 30 pages, yeah? So if you were to think of your movie tonally in analog to another movie, what would you say is the closest? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. I got it. It's like Bad Santa meets Miss Congeniality.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay.
You rehearsed that, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Very good answer. Yeah, I mean, I think Cindy to me feels like she's right in that range. I think you want to think, as you go forward in your drafts, you want to think about turning your other characters, 20 to 30 degrees. A lot of them in the dialogue are coming across as the kind of archetypal characters that you would expect in those roles. Whereas like Cindy, she's three-dimensional. She's a stripper who seems to, she has a mean streak. She's an entrepreneur. She's, she's funny. She has a world perspective. She's a loving, granddaughter who lives with her grand. All those things, but the thugs and the twins in the car, or the kids that she goes to Whimsy World with, they feel not stock, but they feel like those are the versions of the characters that you'd expect in that world, where as you go through, what are the little twists and the character flourishes that you can give to them that give us something that's unexpected in that, in that space. And I think Mima, I think the grandmother is, that's a good example of somebody that comes across, as an interesting three-dimensional character. One note about that scene, and I was kind of hoping for it, and it was sort of kind of edged close to it, and then kind of moved away from it. I think the scene with her at home with the with Mima could be an excellent opportunity to infuse some real drama into the script. I mean, look, it's filled with colorful characters and colorful situations. What you want to do, and I think if you go back and watch Bad Santa as you go through the next rewrite, what you want to do is figure out a way to, not every scene has to have, uproarious comedy in it. I think you want to find the spots to have, drama that suggests real stakes and real people inhabiting a real world with consequences and all sorts of things. And I think that scene with Mima is a great example where we've seen this kind of terrible person through the first 20 plus pages of the script, but she's fascinating, interesting, and we want to follow her. In that scene, if we could get a sense of Mima's plight, and she mentions the towels and everything, which is a funny joke, but just something affecting or sweet, or even like that hits us, something, about her not being able to, pay her doctor's bills, or I'm not pitching you, but you understand what I'm getting at. Something that tells us that Mima's in financial plight, and that it affects her daughter. Because we haven't seen Cindy really care about anybody else in the script. She's very kind of, you know, self-driven, narcissistic, thinking about herself. But if we have this slight inkling that she cares, really does truly care about her grandmother, takes care of her, even a quiet moment between the two of them, it'll go a really long way to set her up and have you cheering for her when she goes into the princess competition in the second act. So, which I think, you know, I was sort of wondering, okay, where is this headed? And then once you kind of started turning the ship around and showing us, okay, there's going to be a big Disney World heist, I was kind of into that. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's an interesting concept. It's cool. A pitch, and I have no idea whether this is actually the right answer or not, but because what you're doing right now is an exercise to try to get attention for yourself and find people to either hire you on a TV show or, you know, represent you, you might want to consider that going through the exercise of actually writing the Disney World and Disney characters into this, because look, the likelihood any movie gets made, likelihood any movie I work on gets made is very low, and has been proven out by my career so far. But the power of doing this as an actual satire, where you name the Little Mermaid, you name Disney World, is kind of interesting and could serve to get you some attention if you kind of wield it correctly. You know, there are a couple of scripts over the past couple of years that landed on the blacklist of this. You know, the famous Chewie script that told the, you know, Star Wars through the perspective, making Star Wars through the perspective of Chewbacca. And look, that movie's probably never going to get made, but it got attention and it got those guys work. So it's just, I'm not telling you to go do it. It's just something to think about, because all the satire that you're doing, if you turn it onto that, it could be really cool and powerful, and people are reading it and they're like, oh, I get that. That's funny.
And you're right. What's the matter?
You can make,
What
yeah.
matters if we make it?
And if somebody's interested enough, then you'll be going back to this version or some other version anyway. So, but really, I mean, really nice. It's particularly you guys, you know, the cast probably felt it. You know, there were some really, you know, crackling scenes, good back and forth. You know, you do that stuff very well. I think it's just infusing some of that, the character drama into it, and it'll help make us feel like the stakes are a little bit more real, which is important for this kind of movie. Like Bad Santa, you were hilarious and offensive and all that, but you actually thought that those guys could do damage or could get into real trouble in the world, and that's kind of, I think that's the rail that you want to get a little closer to as you move into your next draft.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Just for me, I'm just structurally, I mean, I think you started with a bang, and I felt the wave of and I'm wondering if you did too, the ebbs and flows of the cast and the crowd spoke very much to the ebbs and flows of the script. Like, when it was popping, everybody was engaged, and then there were some scenes that sort of drifted on, and I wondered whether or not they were necessary, certainly at their length. Like I think once you got into the strip club, I wonder what purpose that served, and whether or not it was important enough to sort of to keep in there, because it didn't really add a tremendous amount in terms of her character. It didn't really introduce any new characters, and it didn't really move the story along. You know, she could have had, and that whole conversation with her meathead friends about the evidence room. Look, I'm a writer who dialogue is my strength, and I get sucked into overwriting dialogue. So I completely understand. So I noticed that there were some scenes in there where it was just like you didn't need the extra back and forth, or you didn't need, and it would have just kept the momentum going to drive through. So I would caution you to look at the scenes and just make sure that they're as tight as they possibly can, and you're not getting lost in your own. You know, that's a cool line, because I do that all the time. It's like, I don't want to lose that line, it's really funny, but then you hear it, and sometimes when you come into these things, it's like, oh, it didn't play as funny as I thought it was in my head.
It's like, I wish I hadn't rewritten an entire half a script to keep that joke.
Right. Exactly. So, and again, I agree with Ryan, like me more, I mean, I think every scene, especially when you're introducing the first 30, that's what's fun about this, is that the first 30 is so important in terms of setting us up for what we're going to see. And so you have, I feel anyway, it's like, and you can correct me, because it's like there's a whole lot of discipline required to sort of, because you're introducing so many different things at that point. You're like, these are the characters you want to follow, this is the story you want to follow, this is the tone you're going to follow, and you're juggling all those things, and if you don't get it right in the first 30 pages, most of us in the movie theatre were like, what are we watching after half an hour?
Right.
So you've done a great job of showing us what we're watching, and it's amazing character, so I think if you tightened everything around and just sort of kept it more focused on the story it is that you're telling, and let some of that periphery stuff sort of drift off, I think it would be, it'd be even tighter, and then incorporate what Ryan was saying, and I think that gives you the space to do that. So, because we got the goons really fast, we got the idiot wife really, the mum, we got the kids really fast. You did such a great job of setting everybody up so quickly that it didn't need some of the extra stuff.
Yeah, I mean, movies are so much, features are so much about layering when you're writing. You're really, the information that you give away in the first 20 pages of a movie is often the same information that you get in the first episode of the first pilot of a TV show in terms of the first act or setting up the story. So it's all about figuring out ways to layer the things so that the setting and the characters and the dialogue and the things that they're saying or not saying are giving you as much information as possible all at once. And that's the iterative process just of rewriting, which, as Tim pointed out, we all hate, but we do anyway. And but that's the thing, that as you refine the story and figure out that you get closer and closer to that through line that'll take you through, and that extra stuff will just kind of fall away, and you'll find the central thread. But that's that's sort of the frustration of trying to. A script like this should be probably 100, 105 pages at the end. So it's just finding that the most efficient version, get out of the scene, leaving them wanting more, move on to the next scene, next joke. Like I said, the dialogue is really good, so you'll always have another joke, so you don't have to work so hard to keep the ones that you like so much.
Yeah, that's all I got. Otherwise, great.
Thank you.
So we'll turn it over, and then I'll ask you if you have any comments. Anybody have anything for Holiday? Any comments? Nice.
Really cool characters, like really fun, like cool kind of episodic thing that was going on was dope. The one thing that I was really wanting was like a routine interest for, I forgot what the lead character's name is, but like
Cindy.
What's it?
Cindy.
Cindy. Yeah, because you bring up Miss Congeniality, and I'm not going to stop. You bring up Miss Congeniality, but that first part of Miss Congeniality, we see her botch fucking something or another, or something, and it sends her to basically the story. In this, the thing that botches has nothing to do with Cindy. It has to do with the goons. So I was like, damn, I really wanted it to be Cindy's fault some way, somehow, that she doesn't get the money from the caper, and then we get to see her sort of like go on her progression, her transformation. But outside of that.
Yeah, it was like her flaw that like developed, I think.
Yeah, something along the lines of that.
Well, she does trust those idiots. Somewhat problematic.
There's a flaw.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was really fun. Really
Thank
good.
you.
I have a couple things that I thought. Well, first, I liked how you layered in very subtly the crown, and getting to know that was something that was important. But I also agree with what's your name? Nate. That I feel like there needs to be a clear-cut want and need for your main character, and maybe that scene with is it Mima? Maybe that explains. I don't know why she needs money. I know she's poor, but so are a lot of people. Like, why does she need that particular big ticket item? What is it that she really wants?
But she's got a good job at the strip club. Things are going well for her. I actually flashed on that documentary. I thought for sure you were going to make an anti-Semitic Walt Disney type joke in there, like when you're talking about the crown, and it was taken from the Jews, and it was like you had something that was just subtly into the documentary that was like, did they really say that? And you just slip it in and just
see, and if that's actually Walt Disney in that documentary, then
it's
some real social content.
There was one draft where he woke him up.
Oh, what?
Walt Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll see there.
Been anti-Semitic himself.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else? There's a lady there with her arm up.
I thought it was so funny. I was like a little bit, my first time here, and I was like, is this going to be any good? And then I was like, wow, this is really funny. At the moment where it became clear it was going to be a heist, I was like leaning forward, like, yes, I'm so excited about this heist. And I felt like before that, I was like totally into the humor and the characters, but I was like, I kept being like, okay, so it's going to be about this family. And then I was like, oh, no, okay, it's going to be about the strip club. Oh, no, it's going to be about the evidence room. And I was kind of like trying to find it, and then once it hit, I almost wanted that to be like maybe sooner or like more of a build. I did like that you had a moment where she saw the crown. That was a good like foreshadowing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Anthony.
Yeah, just two quick things. So at first, Cindy seems like she's really excited about this idea. She's trying to prove to the goons that she can do it. But then she seems kind of passive in the process of doing it. It's interesting that the passivity is kind of the thing that actually gets her the job. But I felt like she would be trying harder to prove that she can do it. And then the other quick thing was, when I was reading it, I didn't hear if you'd said pilot or feature. And I thought, like, I would watch 9 more episodes of this. I mean, it was great as a feature. It's the perfect first act. But I was like, I could see this with all the characters, this world built, you know, and then next season she'd do it at a master's. So that's just a compliment.
Thank you.
That's just a compliment. That's just a compliment. Okay, anyone? Whit, we'll take you as the. Oh, sorry, did you see
somebody over here?
This is a compliment, but also something to keep in mind as you go forward. One of the things that I think works so great here is that you're taking this woman who's in kind of an absurd world, and when you do give her a heist, it's in a completely different absurd world. So it's not like she's robbing a bank or Fort Knox. She's planning to steal, you know, this weird princess icon from this pageant. And to me, that's just like weirdness on weirdness, which makes it twice as awesome. It's two weird worlds colliding, you know? I mean, it's kind of great.
Thank you. And then, yes, the lady back there. That's you, yes.
I think you did such an incredible job, and honestly, sad that we don't get to hear the rest of it. It's been a very long time since I've seen this congeniality, so forgive me if I butcher this. But I do believe there are a series of scenes where we see Sandra Bullock's character in that movie sort of training to try to become the thing that become the pageant queen, because she's the opposite of that. And I felt a little bit like I was missing something with Cindy sort of trying to, like, you have her talking with the goon guys sort of about, well, pageant princesses are this thing that you're not and whatnot. But I wanted to sort of see her try a bit to prepare for it, because then it just happens really quickly where she's there and all of a sudden she's succeeding at getting the thing that she wants. And I wanted it to be a little more difficult for her. And I'm sure because those first 30 pages were so funny, I'm sure you can come up with some really incredibly funny things to sort of put her through those pieces so we see her go faster and more.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Holiday, what did you get from hearing it? Have you heard it out loud before?
Yeah, I've heard it out loud once before, but it's changed a little since then. But the main thing is that, like, and this is a testament to the people you gathered here and to all of you guys, like, the actors, this was, like, way better. Not
So you feeling pretty good?
because my rewrite was way better, but because you guys were way better. So yeah, that was awesome, especially the gal who played Cindy. Like, I've had a hard time finding an actress that quite, like, I don't know, gets it. So it was actually really helpful to hear, like, almost like what you're saying. She's almost a little, like, it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not. She's almost a little too funny. She almost needs to, like, chill out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could pull back on a little bit.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have caught that if the actors hadn't been very funny and you know, delivered it so well. So that was big. I also, there's like a bajillion slug lines. Like, I feel like I could find a way to not, like, especially at the beginning, it was like house, car, window, other room, car, outside the car, and so I noticed that.
I wouldn't let that freak you out too much,
No.
because that's just cutting.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, I mean, you're never going to see the slug line. I mean, a lot of that was just intercutting between the guys that are kind of listening into what's going on in the van and then inside the house. So
as a reader, you don't think you'd be like, oh,
no, it becomes incredibly annoying when you're doing a live table read, which is the problem with reading script format outside of you know, the people making the movie. So I wouldn't let that freak you out too much.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll never hear exterior surveillance van again.
Not yet. Although watch my new avant-garde movie.
Oh no, yeah, very true.
Where we mention them all.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Cutting edge French.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They're all it's just
Experimental film, yeah.
Interior black and white smoking. Yeah. Wearing berets. Great. Well then, yeah, that's awesome. So you found it helpful. You've got plenty to work on for the next
yes,
draft.
yeah, forever.
Awesome. Everyone, Holiday Kinard.
Okay.
bring up Boys of Summer. He says fashion. Is he chilly in here?
Awesome. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Next to the piece. Hiya.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. Very chill.
I got small parts.
No. Oh, no.
I got small parts.
Alex, Ryan, and Cole are sort of like recent figures here. I don't know if it is helpful to sit next to each other.
Sure, I'm Ryan.
You're Ryan, and you're Cole. There you go. You're reading? Just say what
TV pilot.
TV pilot? Fun. Boys of Summer, Coming Out Party, TV pilot by Joshua V. Gilbert. Act 1. Interior suburban house garage day. A 10-year-old boy speeds through a new pack of baseball cards. He folds one into the spokes of his BMX bicycle and tears off down the driveway. It's very 1980s. Match cut 2. Interior suburban house living room continuous day. The nostalgic setting above plays on the TV. Pop wide to find another 10-year-old boy, this time in present day. He plays a video game on his iPad, not interested in the television. Insert quick cuts over Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Department store clothing rack. A hand pushes aside several baseball jerseys to pull a football jersey off the rack. Sandlot-style baseball field. A group of kids use the empty field to play soccer with the backstop as the goal. Professional baseball field. An outfielder patrols his position before a myriad of empty seats. A line graph shows the ratings for all other sports climbing while baseball continues to plummet. In the stands of a pro baseball game, a Nancy businessman checks his watch while his kids play on their phones. Interior PTI Sports Show Day. Insert the talking heads. Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbin of the popular sports program Pardon the Interruption.
They're calling it Black Monday. With just 2 months to go before the start of the 2017 season, the powers that be in Major League Baseball have voted to contact 3 teams. The Kansas City Royals, Miami Marlins, and Tampa Bay Rays are out, as is Commissioner Rob Manfred. Wilbon, this is a wow for me. What do you make of it?
Look, I make of it that it's not 1950. Right? Baseball, boxing, and horse racing, they don't rule the day anymore. But I'll say this. Major League Baseball better figure something out because they're not connecting with today's America.
Given our current political situation, I'm not sure who is.
You know what this atom bomb means, right? One of the league's remaining 27 teams is going to land themselves a shiny new superstar to put on the mantle.
Yes, indeed. Let Cole tremble. Sweepstakes begin.
Interior Kansas City Royals locker room day. A locker slams shut, revealing Cole Tremble, 23, a handsome, long-haired kid who'd look as natural with a surfboard under his arm as a baseball in his hand. With duffel bags in tow, he and his teammate Desmond Bishop walk and talk.
Because without the suit, Bruce Wayne's just like, what, a dude who knows some karate?
But I'm saying, why the mask? If I was him, I'd just walk into a joint and be like, yo, I'm Batman. Anyone thinking about trying some shady shit? Don't.
Some people like wearing masks.
Man, I knew he was into some freaky shit.
Bishop and Cole reach the exit.
You ready to do this?
You sure we can't just duck out the back?
You're the face of the franchise, G. Or what used to be the franchise.
Cole whips out a bag of berries, tosses a few back.
You want some?
I told you I don't mess with them funky pot berries. You shouldn't either.
Pitchers and catchers don't report for 3 weeks, and last I checked, I'm not on a team anymore.
Cole takes a deep breath, nods to Bishop to open the door. Almost instantly, the two are met with a flood of bright lights and ravenous reporters. Cole does his best to lay low. Interior New Jersey, MLB Network, draft room 1 week later. Established wide on the room. Baseball people of all kinds, general managers, MLB execs, players, fans, have gathered for the big event. A table of analysts set the scene for us.
We are just moments away from finding out which of the 27 Major League Baseball teams will secure that #1 pick, which we presume they'll use to select former Kansas City ace Cole Tremble.
I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of good players in this draft pool, but you get a chance to add a pitcher like Cole Tremble, take it.
We are just getting word that the draft order's been set.
And right on cue, here comes Deputy Commissioner Alex Gomez.
Deputy MLB Commissioner Alejandro Alex Gomez, 40s cynical, strolls up to the podium.
Good evening, folks. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Since I'm sure none of you are here to listen to me talk, I'll get on with it.
He opens the envelope.
The first pick in the 2017 contraction draft is awarded to
Interior-exterior Dodger Stadium, various locations, few days later. Over Tupac's California Love. Open on the Los Angeles Dodgers logo. Pop wide as we fly over a beautifully sunny day at Dodger Stadium. Descend through the tunnels of the hallowed Chavez Ravine and into the Dodgers locker room. Cole stands alone, taking in all the history. Gibson's homer in 1988, a shrine to Jackie Robinson, Fernando Mania, Koufax. Interior New York, MLB headquarters. Outside boardroom, same. Feigning enthusiasm, Deputy Commissioner Alex Gomez escorts a group of typical marketing people out of the office.
Really appreciate you coming in. We'll be in touch.
Once they're gone, he lets the receptionist see the boredom he truly feels.
I know it's not fun, but the position does have to be filled.
The way the game is going, we don't need a head of marketing, we need a priest. Please tell me we're done.
Actually, there's one more. A Ryan Summer says here who is a campaign strategist for Marco Rubio.
That's a ringing endorsement. Why does he want to work in baseball?
She was just about to tell you.
Alex turns to find Ryan Summer, 30s, African-American, beautiful, female, generally the smartest person in the room. Interior New York, MLB headquarters, boardroom moments later. Open on a large projection screen that depicts a stuffy old white man wearing a baseball cap.
Problem number one, you have this guy's attention.
Click to next slide, the photo of an urban youth.
But you need this guy.
Pull out to find Ryan pitching her ideas to the MLB board of directors. 10 older men, mostly white, the most vocal of whom is Chief Operating Officer Boone McGill, 50s, a condescending misogynist with a Texas swagger. Ryan regards the kid on the projection screen as Alex looks on, half interested.
Unfortunately, this kid, like most young men, wants to be like him.
Next slide, a shirtless LeBron James.
Not him.
Next slide, Bartolo Colon, a notoriously overweight pitcher.
Problem number two.
Next slide, an almost empty stadium. One of the few remaining fans is fast asleep. The scoreboard clock reads 11:35 p.m.
The games last far too long.
It's baseball, not speed dating, sweetheart. The slow pace is part of the fabric of the game.
It was when men worked 40 hours a week and didn't participate in childcare. The world's evolving. We have to do the same.
We?
Problem number three.
Next slide, a game being played in the freezing cold.
Baseball is meant to be played under the sun. And your most important games are contested in the frigid temperatures of late October, usually in the Northeast.
We play a 162-game season. That's point blank and period.
I know. That's why I propose adding enough doubleheaders to the regular season to end the World Series by October 1st, which would also help us steal the dead zone.
The dead zone?
Mid-June to early September. The plush real estate that exists between the end of the NBA Finals and the start of football.
Next slide. Manny Machado makes an amazing diving catch.
I would also put body cameras on the players. Teenagers should be watching web gems on their phones and posting them on social media.
Next slide. Chris Bryant wearing a tight Under Armour shirt.
Which brings us to the uniforms. Sex sells, and right now you don't have a shred of it.
A minute ago, Cologne was too fat. Now you want him to put him in a leotard?
For every Bartolo Colon, you've got 20 Mike Trouts. I've seen the numbers. People will tune in to watch beautiful athletes compete in high definition.
Next slide, the Easter Bunny holding a baseball bat.
Last, I think it's time you got into the holiday business.
Meaning what exactly?
The NFL. Your biggest competitor owns Thanksgiving. The NBA has Christmas. I think baseball's opening day should be a national event that always takes place over Easter weekend and starts with a big game on the evening of Good Friday.
Boone clocks the positive reactions in the room. Doesn't like it.
Well, this has been interesting.
I think there's a reality you need to accept, Mr. McGill.
Enlighten me.
Baseball is boring.
The reactions around the room indicate Ryan just uttered the forbidden phrase. But it has awakened Alex from his stupor.
Then why are you here?
Because it doesn't have to be.
Oh, as long as we take your ideas to urban up the game, right?
Baseball's not in a slump. It fell off a cliff. It needs open heart surgery, not a Band-Aid, and those reparations begin with a face.
A face?
All these ideas I've pitched to you mean nothing if you don't have a star to sell them. More than anything else, baseball needs a LeBron James, a Tom Brady.
And I assume you have someone in mind.
Cut to interior Dodger Stadium green room night. On Cole, awaiting his big introduction to the LA media. His phone dings. After regarding it a long beat, he looks like someone just walked over his grave. A Dodgers rep enters.
You ready to meet the City of Angels?
Off Cole, looking completely shell-shocked. Interior Dodger Stadium press room moments later night. Cole sits at the press table, facing a room full of reporters. He's still shaken, can barely focus on the questions.
Making the transition from the AL to the NL, you'll obviously now have to bat. Any concerns there?
I hadn't really thought about it.
The lights tend to shine brighter here in LA than in Kansas City. Do you feel like you're ready for what some consider the bigger stage?
Yeah, I don't. Feels the same size, you know?
Cole's distracted nature is palpable.
Cole, are you okay?
Cole takes a long beat, doesn't know what to say or do.
I'm sorry. I just got some bad news. Back in my hometown, there was a shooting at a nightclub.
Well, when you say your hometown, you mean Chicago or Kansas City?
What? Sorry, Chicago.
Cole's still only half there mentally. Reporters feverishly scour their phones for any intel they can gather.
Was this a Club Hydrate on Halsted Street?
Do you have some connection to this place, an ownership stake?
They're reporting double-digit fatalities.
Says here Hydrate's a gay club. Are we talking about the right place?
Cole's silent for a beat.
You seem pretty broken up. Did you have friends there, family?
I'm gay.
The room sits in stunned silence a beat. Just before the barrage of questions, we take flight. We end Act 1. Act 2, interior Dodger Stadium, press room night. Direct pickup. Cole's still trying to shake the cobwebs from the questions that beckon him from all sides of the room.
Who knows about this? Was your family aware?
Yeah, my folks, they've known for a long time.
How about your teammates?
I haven't really met them yet.
Did you decide to come out because you're in LA? Did your teammates in Kansas City know?
I didn't, this wasn't planned.
Do you have a boyfriend? Was he at this nightclub?
No.
How do you feel about being the first superstar athlete in major American sports to come out?
That question brings Cole to attention like a bucket of cold water being dumped on a drunk. The magnitude encompasses him.
I'm sorry.
Cole exits as the questions chase him out the door. Interior Washington, D.C., Ryan Summers' office, a few days later. Alex bursts in a huff, finds Ryan sitting at her desk.
I can't offer you the marketing position.
I'm fine. How are you?
Sorry.
Alex takes a beat to collect himself.
The board didn't go for your ideas.
You came all the way here to tell me that?
We could use your help on another matter.
Clearly aware of the Cole Trumbull situation, Ryan revels in Alex's newfound need for her services.
Why? What's going on?
That's cute.
I would love to help you out because I really do appreciate the importance of Cole's situation, but I'm likely accepting another job.
Before we had a chance to offer you the illustrious role of PR consultant,
Ooh, now who's being cute?
can I ask why you came in to pitch? I mean, you obviously knew that you weren't getting the job, or you wouldn't have called baseball boring.
No one who looks like me was getting that job.
Then why bother?
Because my father would be rolling over in his grave if he could see the sleeping pill baseball has become. I hope the board would at least steal my ideas for the good of the game.
They're not smart enough to do that.
Who'd they hire?
No one. I wanted you, but I got outvoted, and I nixed all the other choices. We have to be unanimous.
Sounds like you're running an incredibly productive operation over there, Deputy Commissioner.
Don't let the title fool you. Nobody's running anything until a new commissioner is appointed.
And who appoints the commissioner?
The 27 teams that own the sinking ship known as Major League Baseball.
If it's all such a lost cause, why are you here?
Because the game may be destined for obscurity, but Cole Trimble isn't. How we handle him this season will live on forever.
I agree, but I can't afford to turn down the position I've been offered.
Alex paces around, searching his mind for a last-ditch effort. Spots a photo of a ball player on the shelf.
Is that your father?
Yes.
He was a ball player.
Career AAA prospect. Had a cup of coffee with the Yankees.
Now, he's the man you said would be rolling over in his grave if he could see what the game's become, right?
Not totally immune to being goaded, Ryan opens the door, forcing herself to escort Alex out.
Good day, Mr. Gomez.
An intimate face-to-face as Alex slowly brushes past Ryan. Interior Arizona spring training manager's office day. Cole sits across from Dodgers manager Skip Jackson. 60s African American, old school, hard-nosed.
You need a few days to get your head right? Pay respects to your loved ones?
I'm fine.
You sure?
I didn't know any of the victims. It just shook me up because it's a club I used to go to.
And all the other bullshit? That ain't weighing on you none?
To be honest, I just want to get on the mound as soon as possible.
You know, I never thought I'd meet a white boy who knows what it's like. You get my meaning on that, right?
Yes, sir.
Then can I give you some advice? Winning cures everything. You win and won't nobody give a damn who you do what with.
Cole chewing on that. Interior Arizona, Dodgers locker room, moments later, day. Cole strides into the locker room. He's nervous, quiet, wishing he was invisible. Random conversations being had attack his ears like very distinct ambient noise. I got engaged last month, man.
Oh yeah? What's his name?
In a separate conversation,
You know, I'm just saying Westbrook's sick. I mean, no homo. But he got game.
the room goes quiet, finally noticing Cole, the proverbial record scratch. He finds a rainbow flag hung from his locker.
All right. Who did this? That's what I thought.
Jack Jam Young, 20s Asian, lovably cocky, approaches.
Easy, killer. We all got mad respect for you, but if you think we're gonna have some fun with this, you're in the wrong clubhouse.
Cole's not sure what to make of this initiation.
Look, you can go hang some Panda Express from my locker if it makes you feel better. They call me Jam.
Yeah, I know who you are.
So let me help you out real quick. Because you're gonna need some ammo to make it through the season.
Jam points out a player rocking out with headphones on.
See Davis over there bobbing his head? I promise you he's rocking out to Taylor Swift.
Another player wearing rubber gloves gently eases his foot out of a flip-flop.
Shields gets a mani-pedi after every game.
Finally, Jam regards a very large, bearded man.
And Hertz? Hertz got a serious thing for older ladies. Talking Golden Girls, but don't go there. Closers, right?
Done suiting up, Jam heads for the field.
See you out there.
Begrudgingly amused, Cole tosses aside the rainbow flag. Interior Arizona, Cole's rental home night. Judith, 50s, Cole's typical Jewish mother, unpacks groceries. Cole plays Scrabble with his father, Frank.
It's your turn, Pop.
Frank studies the Scrabble board intently.
Look, my first start's on Monday, and I think it'd be best if maybe you guys just watch on TV.
What? Why? We came all this way.
Well, not everyone's in favor of my lifestyle, Maha. Especially not in Arizona. The heckling could get pretty vicious.
This is news.
You know what they say about closed-minded people? They always seem to have their mouths open.
We're coming. I'll make some rugula for you to bring to your teammates.
Oh yeah, that'll butch them right up.
Cole studies the Scrabble board for a long beat, then speeds through a rapid-fire internal monologue.
Been holding the fourth U since I played XI, thinking the Q would come, but it never did, so he must have it. And with the final blank, he can play a bingo on the triple. Play antique in the bottom corner there, Pop.
Cole pats his father on the back and crosses out before Frank realizes what just happened. Once he puts it together,
How does he do that?
I think he gets it from me.
Interior Arizona Dodgers training facility, a few days later. Cole finishes up a workout. Santiago, physically imposing grizzled veteran catcher, clocks Cole leaving.
Already done, huh?
Yeah, have some place.
Another press conference?
Autograph signing, actually.
Got it.
Trust me, I'd rather be here putting in work.
Mm-hmm.
At least you won't have to come up with an excuse not to shower today. Think I haven't noticed?
I can't shower with females. Why should you shower with me?
There aren't any females on the team.
Look, I'm a God-fearing man, but I can accept your lifestyle.
That's very gracious of you.
If you want to live in sin, that's your business. Have the guys in this league do it one way or the other.
Then why do you have a problem with me?
Everyone has a problem with you.
Jam drops a line in passing.
I don't. Gay dudes make the best wingman ever. Gonna be a banner year for the Jam Master.
But people can say all the right things in this clubhouse. What happens the first time an opponent calls you some crooked shit? Or comes in high and tight when you're at the plate? Every eye in the world is going to be watching us. And if we don't react the right way, the hammer's going to drop on all of us.
Sorry my lifestyle will be such a burden on you, man.
Hey, like I said, your lifestyle I can take. What I can't take is you bringing the circus to town and made the team, hell, even skip, having to find out about it on SportsCenter.
Santiago crosses out, leaving Cole to ponder an issue he hadn't considered. A towel boy taps Cole's shoulder. Instinctively, Cole bristles, still hot.
Sorry, I just thought you might want a fresh towel.
Taking in the handsome towel boy, Cole softens. Exterior Arizona, spring training ballpark a few days later. On an Arizona Cactus League sign, established the Dodgers' first game of spring training. Picnickers on blankets, food vendors, bleacher seating, the feel of spring baseball. On the mound, find Cole. With the game about to begin, he stands with his back to the plate, deep in thought. A barrage of voices frantically speed through his head.
This kid's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. 7 dead, dozens more injured. Winning cures everything. You bring the circus to town. Some people like wearing masks. First openly gay superstar in major American sports.
Cole slams the baseball into his glove, silencing the voices in his head. He's ready. He turns to the plate, and the crowd erupts in excitement. Find Alex in the stands reading the Washington Post. The headline, Political Strategist Ryan Summer on shortlist for White House Chief of Staff. Time cut to, a few hours later, Cole's on the mound, mid-game.
Well, here we are with 2 down in the 7th, and whatever nerves we may have expected from Cole Trumbull have been non-existent so far.
The next batter steps to the plate.
Cole in the wind, and here's the first offering to Calhoun.
The batter swings and hits an infield pop fly.
Pops him up. Santiago under it, and that should be the inning.
Santiago botches the catch.
Oh, he dropped it. Santiago dropped the routine fly ball, and Calhoun safe at first.
Santiago's pissed at himself for the error as he lowers his mask and takes his squat behind home plate.
And that error doesn't do Cole Trumbull any favors because it brings Mike Trout to the plate.
Trout steps in. Cole takes a breath, sets to deliver. Cole throws a pitch. The runner on first breaks for second.
Runner goes.
Santiago's throw to second goes into center field. The runner advances to third.
Santiago airmails the throw.
Oh boy, back-to-back miscues from the veteran catcher, and Tremble's gonna have a dog with him.
Santiago is completely out of sorts. Cole grabs him by the face mask, gives him some tough love.
Hey, forget about the runner. I'll pick you up. Now pull your head out of your ass and let's take care of this guy at the plate.
Santiago goes back to his post. Cole walks around getting his bearings, mumbling to himself.
First game of the spring and I'm already a fucking therapist.
It'll be interesting to see how Cole approaches Trout here. With first base open, he doesn't have to give in to him.
Cole takes a long look at the batter, studying him intently. Cole's intense focus makes him look possessed. His lips utter a flurry of silent words. He finally throws the pitch, induces a lazy ground ball to second base, which Jam handles easily.
Well, it turns out to be much ado about nothing as we head to the bottom half of the inning.
In the dugout, moments later, Santiago offers a thank you nod to Cole from the opposite end of the bench. Interior Arizona, spring training, Dodgers locker room later. A group of reporters gather around Cole at his locker.
Dominguez brushed you off the plate in the 5th. Do you think he was throwing at you intentionally?
With the bases loaded and a tie game? I hope so.
There's been rumors of a tumultuous relationship between you and Hector Santiago. Is that what your spat on the field was about?
We didn't have a spat. We were just talking about how to pitch Trout.
Aside from a few naysayers, you seem to be pretty well received by the fans. Were you surprised?
Annoyed, Cole starts to head out. The reporters chase him.
You built up somewhat of a cult following. Anything you'd like to say to the Tremble makers?
Yeah, don't talk to reporters. I mean, Jesus H, dude. I throw 7 shutout innings, and all you guys want to talk about is a bunch of off-the-field bullshit.
I know this isn't a question you want to hear, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you what you thought of the president's tweet.
What tweet?
The reporters are shocked that Cole hasn't heard. They all race to be the first to get the soundbite.
Quote, just hope Cole Tremble's here because he's good, not because he's gay. Baseball should be about real ball players, not special treatment. Sad.
I hadn't heard that.
Match cut 2. Exterior Washington, D.C. street night. We continue watching Cole's post-game meltdown on an iPad.
Maybe if he knew I had a fucking towel boy the other day, he'd think I was a real ball player.
Off the reactions of the reporters.
Look at you fucking idiots. If I were straight, no one would care. But 2 consenting adults of the same sex, making us some kind of fucking novelty act?
Pull out to pick up Ryan, having just watched on her iPad. She's pissed and walking with a purpose. She makes a call.
Alex, it's Ryan. Can you have Colt in LA by tomorrow? Because you just hired me.
End Act 2. Act 3. Interior Dodger Stadium the next day. Pick up Ryan and Alex in a walk and talk in the empty stadium.
If you didn't want me to take the job, you shouldn't have offered it to me.
I didn't offer it. You told me I was hiring you.
6 of 1.
Look, I'm no politician, but I can't imagine turning down White House Chief of Staff to be a PR consultant bodes well for your future in Washington.
All it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to stand by and do nothing. I believe I read that somewhere.
I can promise you whoever said it didn't have 2 kids and a mortgage.
I've never met someone who had such a hard time taking yes for an answer.
If I'm going to let you commit career suicide, I need a reason.
Ryan stops walking, gets serious.
Do you know why Trump wanted to hire me? Because he needed a pretty young black girl to throw in everyone's face when people call him a racist.
Isn't that what Omarosa is for?
He wanted someone likable. Either way, forgive me if I decided that helping baseball navigate the most important civil rights issue American sports has seen since Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier is a better use of my time than serving at the pleasure of the embarrassment in tweets.
Conversation over. Ryan moves on. Exterior Dodger Stadium, outfield pavilion, short while later. Ryan finds Cole sitting alone in the blissfully vacant outfield bleachers. He's understandably confused.
Offices are far too formal. I want our dynamic to feel like a friendship.
Not to be a dick or whatever, but who are you? My agent didn't give me a whole lot of details.
My name's Ryan Summer. I'm going to be handling you.
Handling me? What's that mean?
It means that anytime you decide to tell the media you struck a towel boy, you and I get to sit down and figure out how to fix it.
So you're my publicist?
Let's just say my top priority right now is changing your narrative.
Changing it to what?
That depends. What do you want?
I just want to play baseball.
Okay. Let me ask it this way. If you could go back in the closet, would you?
I don't know. I mean, I never really planned to come out, at least not while I was still playing.
Then why did you?
Because 7 people got killed for being gay, and I guess I just felt obligated to stand up for them.
7 strangers or 7 people you knew?
I don't have to know them to feel bad for them.
Just wondering why you never felt obligated to come out before.
It didn't work out so well for Michael Sam and Jason Collins.
Michael Sam and Jason Collins weren't superstars.
Cole considers that.
Do you know that your start yesterday pulled a 12-5? 18 million people tuned in to watch you throw a spring training game on a Tuesday afternoon.
It's a freak factor. It'll pass.
Is that what you're hoping for? It's okay if it is. Being the face of a movement isn't easy.
People are acting like I'm some kind of folk hero. I'm just not that guy.
Oh no? Have you read your Twitter feed? Do you know how many kids are looking to you for guidance?
The Dodgers have people who handle our Twitter accounts.
I know. I spoke to them. They get pings every single day from kids begging for your address so they can send you letters.
Kids don't write letters anymore.
They do when they don't want the social media world to hear what they have to say. You're in the limelight regardless. You may as well embrace it.
What would embracing it be?
Cut to Interior New Jersey, MLB Network, editing day 1 week later. Open on a large print ad that depicts Cole sitting on a bar stool. He's completely naked, save the mitt in his hand that covers his genitals. His physique is quite impressive. Top level copy. Why will you be watching? Bottom level copy. Opening night, Good Friday, Dodgers vs. Giants. Pop wide to find Ryan working with an editor to cut some game footage.
We have to get it under 30 minutes. Keep trimming.
Through the glass wall, Ryan sees something being played on a TV in another edit bay. We cut to that footage. On TV, Good Morning America shows Cole's mostly naked ad.
Well, regardless how you feel about Cole Trumbull, all eyes will be on him for the big Good Friday opener on April 14th.
Off Ryan, smiling ear to ear as she watches. Interior Arizona spring training Dodgers locker room day. Cole and Jam suit up.
So you always known you was,
I guess. I mean, I dated girls in high school, but just for, like, show.
They couldn't tell?
I'd only wear dresses in private.
I'm saying, wasn't it obvious when y'all got down to it?
I'm still a dude. It's not that hard to rise to the occasion. I did mess up with a girl I was dating, though. We were watching Brokeback Mountain, and she put her head on my lap, and it was obvious I was into the movie.
Yeah, I guess you can't play that one off as a narb, huh?
A what?
No apparent reason boner.
Cole gets a call, ignores it.
I don't know how these redneck idiots keep getting my number.
Jam grabs the phone, puts it on speaker, answers in a flamboyantly gay voice.
Cole Tremble's phone, sexual chocolate speaking.
I want to talk to the pecker puller.
You'll have to be more specific. There are so very many of us here.
The team is now gathered around to watch Jam's performance.
Just put him on the phone, heathen.
He's occupied with the towel boy at the moment. May I take a message?
Yeah. Ask him what I should tell my son when he asks why that man lover's naked body's on every damn billboard from here to Texas.
Maybe tell him Jesus had 2 dads and he turned out okay?
Don't take the Lord's name in vain with me, you son of a bitch.
So angry. Do you have some latent homosexual desires to work out?
The only desire I got is to string all you girly boys up by a rope.
I prefer handcuffs, but whatever tickles your fancy.
You keep it up. I just may come down there and slap the shit out of you.
Bondage, I like that. Did your wife get you into that? I mean, she does know your favorite shade of lipstick is penis, right?
Suck my dick, you little shit.
Hey, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine.
Off the silence.
You still with me, cowboy? Did I go too far with the wife thing?
You listen to me, you blaspheming wise ass. I know where your boy Cole lives, and I can promise you, I'll be paying him a visit.
Now we're talking. Heel pitch, you catch.
Dial tone. The team applauds as Jam takes a bow. Everyone but Santiago is wildly amused. End of scene.
So that's our new record. That was 34 speaking parts. So congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of scenes. Well done, actors. Thank you for the actors again. Just before we get into it, if I can boast, Malzum, who's lurking in the background there, is going to be in a new NBC series. She got picked up this week. She's going to be mid-season in a show called Champions, a comedy. And yeah, and so congratulations, Malzum. She's super awesome. So anyway, carry on.
Great. Thanks, Josh. Congratulations. It's a really, I think this is a really compelling idea for a TV show. I have a radical note for you.
Okay.
But I think it's a good way to frame the discussion. I think, you know, TV inherently is something that kind of moves a lot slower than movies. And you know, if you were doing the film version of this is probably an appropriate pacing. But I think for this pilot, I think the outbeat on the pilot is Cole announcing, like blurting out at the press conference that he's gay, because it's such a compelling cliffhanger at the end of the pilot. You know, you think of Mad Men, you know, Don Draper spends his whole day at the office. He seems to be this swinging bachelor. He goes down to the village. He hangs out with this woman who he clearly has a relationship with. And then the end of the pilot is him just coming home to his family. And it's such a punch. And you understand what the whole show is about in that moment. Whereas this, you can spend the 60 pages of the pilot building out Cole as a character, seeing this guy who's tortured with this secret that he's been holding in, and you know, trying to live this double life, trying to be the face of the MLB, the Dodgers, whatever. And then at the end of the pilot, so you see him struggling with all these things, and the end of the pilot is him giving that away. And you can set up the PR woman, what was her name? Sorry,
Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. But forgot my own name. So you can set up the same story with her all through the pilot, and then we'll understand at the end, you know, if you see her, you know, watching the press conference, we'll understand that their lives are going to careen together. And look, I realize it's a, you know, somewhat radical rewrite for you, and I'm just one guy in my opinion, but to me, you want to use the real estate that you have in those 60 pages to set up the dynamics of him with his team, and then the story becomes about this guy who is, you know, now suddenly put himself out there in a big way, and I think it's a fascinating story to tell about, you know, the harassment that he's going to deal with, whether his teammates embrace him, how he has a Does he have a private social life anymore? How his family deals with it. You can do all these things in the series because you want to think of, now it used to be 100 episodes, but now you want to think of 50 episodes. What are the 50 episodes of this thing? And the first season can just be the story of this guy trying to be accepted into this world, and it just gives you a lot more room to play the character scenes. And I think one thing I do think you want, whether you take this note or not, I think you just want to see more of the sort of something is off with him. He's distracted. He doesn't really fit in. There's something going on, something that that's just missing. And then of course, going from Kansas City to LA brings this whole new kind of responsibility to him that he's going to deal with, that builds up to this thing. And I think you want to see the club, the tragedy at the club happen. You want to see him take that in and then have it, kind of haunting him all the way up until that scene where he finally blurts it out. I think you want to just take more time to set all that stuff up. But look, the concept is fascinating. The characters are fascinating. I think you've created an interesting clubhouse room to play in. Like, it's all really good and compelling stuff. I think you just want to take advantage of the TV format, which is, you've probably written a lot of features, which is, like, as I was saying before, layering and go.
Right.
This, you just want to slow the bus down a little bit, and I think it'll be in good shape.
Right. My fear in that regard is like if it's you, someone's gonna read 60 pages.
Yeah.
You're a showrunner, these showrunners, they read the first 10 pages. Well, that's relatively the next one.
Yeah.
So my fear with that is no one's ever gonna get to the 60th page where they find out that he's gay.
Sure. I mean, that's it's a valid concern, but that's why you have to figure out that thing that you do in the first 10 pages that tells us something about him that's off. Something he's got a secret. Mad Men was kind of its own exercise, but I think it was actually you see his Purple Heart that he pulls out of his desk in the early part of that pilot, and that obviously nobody else in the office knows what's going on, but okay, so Don Draper's a guy who has a secret life, right? And he's got this thing that he's protecting. So it just sets up an interesting character. I'm not pitching Purple Heart, but something about him
makes for an interesting
story. Something about him as a character. This is a guy who women would be throwing themselves at him, right? He's the LeBron James of the major league, and set that hook, and readers are really smart, and they'll sense something going on, and if you can present it in a compelling way, then it just rewards the end of the pilot. I personally, if I'm sucked in by the first 10 pages, I'll read the next 10, I'll read the next 10, I'll read the next 10, so I'll read the whole pilot. So the trick is to make it compelling enough to get me to the end, and then that's a punch to end a story with, and then you understand. Oh, okay, now I know the reason the show exists and why I should be watching.
Right.
Are you suggesting that we, the audience, don't know either? That you try and keep it?
Yeah,
or that we know, but we know that the rest of the world doesn't know yet.
No, I think you play it close, but you leave enough breadcrumbs out there to reward the reader who knows that something's going on. You want to do a little magic tricks and some feint and misdirection and things like that. And I think I know what's going on, and maybe I don't. But no, I think you play it totally close. You reward the close reader who maybe kind of senses it coming.
Right.
But yeah, that's what makes for fascinating TV to me, is the characters who have multiple lives that they're trying to keep spinning. Especially a guy like this who's going to now be this most famous sports celebrity in LA.
Right.
So, just one guy's thoughts, but.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, I don't know.
I should have let you go first.
Yeah. Because it's screw him.
Yeah.
Dude, look, Ryan makes a good point. It's an interesting, because I was struggling with the juxtaposition between, it's a real word, I promise, with Ryan and Cole. Like, they were operating in separate worlds, and I was getting annoyed. Like, desperately annoyed, but whenever Ryan was on, there was a lecture about baseball, and then whenever Cole was on, it was sort of like a different show about a gay guy in baseball. And I was like, when are they going to get together? What is this going to be? And I don't want any more lectures. I know baseball's dying. I want to know when are they, obviously they're going to get together. When's this thing going to kick in?
Right.
And so I was sort of thinking, how do you get them together quicker? And then Ryan's like, no, slow it all down. And so it's like, okay. So then, because in my mind's racing, it's like, what do you fill that hour with before? Because I think it's certainly an interesting way to go, and it would certainly solve some of my issues, because it could be about baseball trying to save itself in the first episode,
Right.
and Ryan, and that whole back and forth. We know she's going to be on, and the whole. I wasn't sure whether or not we needed the political stuff and and her particular. I think. So I wasn't sure. Because she's such an interesting character anyway, and she's so unlikely. It'd be nice if there was a way that she came on board that was as unlikely as she is to be in that position, and that she had a fairly, like, a more important position. It would be nice if she had confronted the redneck old white man, or something had, like, there was some way that she was sort of involved rather than just like she decided she was going to do it. This guy's giving her a PR consulting job.
Right.
It just. Because she was very interesting, and she had a lot of great ideas for baseball. I wish that baseball would listen. Clearly you... oh, and that was my other point. I forgot to mention, you created... Let me just be straight. You created a gay major league pitcher, but you kind of just slid through the fact that he's a Jew. He's got this Jewish... It's like, I'm sorry, what major, like, #1 athlete in this sport? Right, but since then, it's like... Holy cow, and you sort of shook, it's like, I'm going to bring Rugula, and that'll be fine. It's like, wait, you're leaving this giant elephant in the room. You just, but wait, he's gay. It doesn't matter that he's Jewish. It's like, wow, you created such an enormous canvas, and then, so it's like, there's more information you could have, and, and you could certainly play it to speaking to what Ryan's saying. That could be the misdirect, where it's like, he's off because he's Jewish, or there's something... in today's day and age, no, I'm Jewish, so I'm off. But you know what I mean? Like the thing that he doesn't fit in, or he doesn't belong, or there are other issues, and it's like, no, it's not that I'm a Jew. I'm gay, and it's like, okay. I mean, that's so it's like you sort of lay such a tapestry that there's much more to explore. So maybe maybe it is. Maybe you can sort of take a breath.
Yeah, I mean, what it feels like you're building towards is this idea that either the Dodgers of Major League Baseball has assembled a pedestal that they're not going to put this guy up on, and they're going to bet the future of or they're going to sell on this guy. And what you want to do is you want to set that up on the sort of the Major League Baseball POV of the thread, right? Where we're building, and we're gonna try to take a new approach with this guy and make him the face of the sport, right? And then on the other side, you want to see him dealing with all of his personal stuff and trying to figure out who he is. And then at the end, once they've kind of put him up on this pedestal, you want to have him blurt this thing out at the press conference. And now you have drama, right? Because now they've bet on this guy, they've put him in one of the biggest markets in the whole sport, and now he's done this thing, which is going to be, whether it's good controversial or bad controversial, it is completely controversial. Now you've set off a firestorm that at least the first season of the show is going to be about. And that, to me, that makes for really compelling drama. And then, the Ryan thing, like, fits right into there. If she's been turned down for a job from them, and then she can call back and say, like, I think you want to reconsider. Whatever the thing is that you play. This would, of course, be episode 2 stuff. The trick with her is just to set that hook with her and understand that she's kind of been shown the door and is sort of left adrift, and now fate is going to bring these two lives back together.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. It's a.
We've just written a completely different show.
Yeah, totally. But we haven't. We just it's a different version of the pilot, but it's the show that you're trying to put out there, and I think like I said, I mean, I think this is a fascinating place to play in the drama space, because it's a TV sports drama that deals with this kind of third rail topic, which is it's just the kind of thing that's doing well out there in the market right now.
Right.
And certainly I think well executed will get you attention, because it'll make people kind of sit up. I mean, I've read staffing season, I read some like 50 pilots, and you're always looking for that thing that kind of says, oh, okay, this is a guy with a voice, but also that has a different story to tell.
Right.
And that's what this feels like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll turn to people who may comment on the actual pages they've read rather than coming up with their own. Yes?
I loved it so much. First of all, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a really saleable topic. Like, again, it's that combination of, it's a sports story about someone who's gay, who's a minority, who's coming into it, and it's,
Damn it. Yeah.
Um,
No, he might be if you're a Trump supporter. I'm not suggesting this is an apolitical arena, I'm sorry.
Anyone was seen where someone called with real threats, and he's sitting there having to listen to that with another teammate continuing. At first it was super funny, and then it got really real, and he's continuing to joke about this while Cole, who this is his life and this is his true experience, has to sit there and listen to that. Like, that's such a good scene, and it's funny still, but it's also really, really gut-wrenching. I loved it so much.
Thank you.
All right. By the way, have you seen the thing on Fox that came and went about the
Pitch.
black? Yeah.
I did, and I started writing this before that was a thing, and then that became a thing, and then like.
And then you cried.
I had him go on Jimmy Kimmel, and then she went on Jimmy Kimmel, so then it was Jimmy Fallon. And it just kept
burning through the Jimmys on LiveRead.
And it just ran through the Jimmy.
But it's different. It's a different Jimmy. I promise.
It's a different Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do a better job than that, because they dropped the ball there. I mean, it wasn't literally, but it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame when that happens.
I don't know who their audience was the thing.
I don't think Fox knows.
Yeah.
Holiday.
I just wanted to mention on the baseball stuff. Like, I'm definitely someone who does not know anything or care anything about baseball, but not only did it seem like you really knew your stuff, you made it interesting to me. Like, it was accessible, and I even like the scene with the baseball. I didn't like totally know what was going on, but I was like excited, and all the stuff to save baseball. Like, it could have very easily gotten super like technical and stuff only baseball people know about, and it didn't. It kept it interesting to people like me who know nothing. So great job.
Can I thank you for saying that, because my wife is here. So see, all of the time I've been spending watching baseball has not been a waste. It's been valuable research. Thank you.
Very good.
You're still in trouble,
Yeah. Anyone else have anything? Nate.
I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do you see this show? Like, what network or streaming outlet or whatever?
I wrote it as something to be very networky. I had written some darker cable stuff, and I work on The Flash, the TV show. I don't know if anybody's a fan of The Flash. So I was like, maybe I should try writing something more networky, in case they want to read a sample, and maybe I'm better at writing the network stuff than the cable stuff, because I've gotten more attention for this than. But yeah, I see it as like a networky thing, like a Fox or NBC or something like that.
If that's the case, then I would say that, because what I felt Ryan was suggesting is much more like a cable or maybe a streaming outlet, like that slow build lead up to that big reveal. It's a very sort of like AMC sort of way, which is awesome. But if you're going to go network, then I think that teaser, that first set, you got to land on like, I'm gay, as fast as possible and push it faster, because network tends to work a lot faster that way. But dude, you make really good three-dimensional characters. Who's ever going to play Jammer is going to be a fucking star.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
It was great.
We have time for one more, because I want to get to a Q&A with Ryan so that you can pepper him with questions. Anthony?
Just following up on the baseball stuff, great. I think you saved MLB. I think you did. I also do a lot of PTI, and that you nailed those voices as well. And I was going to say, which I agree with what you said about the hitting it up front. I don't know, just being like a contrarian, but I like the idea of, like, this is a show about the first major league baseball sports gay superstar, like, boom, he's gay, like, right up front. So I found, like, when I saw where it was going, I just wanted to, like, feel that groundwork. The other thing I was thinking was the characters seem to say a lot of, like, their own mantras or, like, things that they believe, as if these are things they say to everyone they meet.
Right.
As opposed to, like, finding, like, the little subtext of what they might actually say to each other. And so I just sometimes, instead of like just a little couple moments that felt very like, you can't talk to me that way. And I wanted him to be like, well, how would he say that?
Right.
What would he do in that situation? But mostly nailed it. There's just like a couple of times I felt that.
Thank you.
All right. How are you hearing it? You've heard it before, or you?
I have heard it before, but to echo what Holiday was saying, also I'm in a writer's group, and we like read the script out loud, and when writers are reading it, it sounds like, no, you cannot talk to me that way. How dare you? It's just terrible.
What are you saying about writers?
Thank you so much to the actors. So thank you so much to the actors.
Did you learn something from it? I mean, have you got stuff to take away?
Yeah, I was worried that some of the baseball stuff was feeling overly minutiae. but hearing the feedback told me maybe not. But yeah, definitely is helpful to hear it out loud and the pacing and the dynamics and things like that.
All right, very good. Josh, everyone? All right, we don't have long.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Are you having a good time?
Yeah, this
Of course,
is
you
great
have,
fun.
you have to say that. You're in front of
This is great fun. No, thank you for, like I said, just one guy's opinion, but, incredibly brave of both Holiday and Josh to, lay their stuff to bear. It's much easier to just email it into somebody's inbox and, not have to be there for the experience.
and then wait for that reply email where it's like, this was great, but...
Yeah, the notes.
Yeah. So how did you get into this? What was your entry story?
I had I was an overnight success that was 8.5 years in the making. So, I just had a very long, circuitous path. I was a weird kid who always wanted to be a writer, and I sort of figured out that I always loved movies, but, I grew up in a time called the 1990s before the internet, and I didn't really, as a kid, I didn't really understand that movies were written things. So once those two things kind of crossed over and I realized that movies and TV were written, I was like, that's what I want to do with my life. And it just took a long time. So I wrote my first pilot, TV episode when I was in high school. It was a very bad X-Files episode, which was like the hottest show on television at the time. Still my favorite show. And then I went to college and I majored in business because I had parents that desperately wanted me to do something responsible with my life. And so I took a lot of night courses and things in the film and just, sort of interesting courses, folklore and myths and legends and things like that. And I just wrote on the side, and I did that for 8 years and eventually got a job in marketing and then advertising, and I just kept writing and writing and writing. And eventually it was sort of like, it was time to, shit or get off the proverbial pot. And my brother had just moved to LA because he's much braver than I am. So he went to film school and sort of packed up the car and just drove cross country. And I was like at home, sort of carefully saving money and biding my time. And I was like, fuck it, I just got to go. And but by the time I came out here, I had 2 or 3 scripts that I was pretty happy with in terms of things that I felt like I'd probably written like 8 or 9 features at that point, and I had 2 or 3 things that I felt like, okay, these I can at least show to people. And I placed 2 years in a row in the Nickel Fellowships in screenwriting, and it was enough that, kind of those back-to-back years helped me get a manager who had been paying attention to the list and was intrigued by me and sort of hit me up. And while this was going on, the first writer's strike, or the last writer's strike, was going on. So it was a fortuitous time, at least for me, not for all the writers who are out of work, but I had this guy's undivided attention, and I was working on the spec that he was very interested in. And then when the strike ended, I had this thing and it was done, and suddenly people were very hungry for material. So it went from like 8.5 years of desert and nothing to I had this manager, and then like on the first week, his boss came in and basically signed me and said, we're going to take this out as soon as the strike ends. Strike ends Friday. I have an agent at William Morris, and then on Monday my spec sold. So it was like it was this crazy thing, and then 5 years of hell followed that, by the way.
All right.
So it was just very hard. It was making it as a feature writer is 10 years ago was incredibly hard. Now is functionally impossible. I mean, the nice thing for you guys is that TV is so much better and more accessible now than it ever was, because there are 450 TV shows on, and TV, unlike features, which is just sort of whatever, I don't even know how you break into features anymore. TV has this very kind of set path where you can start as a writer's assistant or PA to the writers, and you can meet the showrunner and build your way up and kind of prove your mettle, and then when that day comes and you can put a script down in front of them, that can lead to getting a freelance script. I mean, we had my assistant on the pilot for Colony was our writer's assistant year 1, year 2. Season 2, we gave her a script because she had done very well. She did well again, and then we hired her this year as a staff writer. So, she worked years and years and years to get into that position, but she was there, right place, right time. And anyway, so that sort of began my feature odyssey, and that kind of went like this for 5 years. Nothing really got made as it does, and then And then I kind of found my way into TV about 5 years ago, and that changed a lot of things. I mean, TV has been very, very good to me, and it's just I've kind of found my place there. And I still work on the feature side, but I don't have to make my whole income and living off of that, which is very freeing because it allows me to sort of, okay, I'm going to go chase that thing, and if I don't get it, even though it's going to take 6 months, it's okay because I have this base over here. And so being able to do those two things has been really fulfilling. And working in TV is just, I mean, as any of you guys know, is just generally much more fulfilling to the writer because we're in charge and we get to make all the decisions, which is kind of like a writer fantasy camp fantasy. And whereas in features, you're basically you're a crew member and almost actively kept out of the actual production process. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. And then I was able to quit my job and I worked, and there were good years and bad years, more bad years than good years, but worked slowly and made my way up, and now it seems like things are going well for the moment.
Yeah, we had Kate Adams here last month from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And when we mentioned Logan's Run, she's like, yeah, that's me. I mean, not me specifically, but that's our crew.
Yeah.
We're doing that. So walk me through how Colony gets on air. Like, what was that process? I mean, you were already on another program. I mean, who pitched what and how? I mean, how does it all?
Yeah. So so my entree into TV, I just had one of those fortuitous right place, right time, right meeting, where William Morris hooked me up with Carlton Cuse. Not yet on Colony, on another project that we did for NBC together, this Western, supernatural Western that we made as a pilot for NBC. So he was looking for a writer to write this pilot he was producing called The Sixth Gun. And I wrote it, and everybody liked it, and they greenlit it to pilot, which was hilarious to me because after basically 6 years of toiling away in the salt mine, my first thing that I did in TV went and got made, and nothing had been made in features. So I mean, that goes to show. But so we made that pilot. It did not come out very good. They did not pick it up to series, but it formed a relationship with Carlton and I. So at the very least, I was able to go back into his office and basically say, hey, I have this other idea. I don't know if it had a title at the time, but it was basically, it's the Nazi occupation of Paris, but the Nazis are aliens. And it's a story about this guy that's forced to go collaborate with the Nazis against his will for the safety of his family. And by the way, his wife is in the resistance. So Carlton really liked it, responded to it. He's a big World War II nut. So we just started talking about it, and it kind of went organically from there. And then we took it to Legendary, our studio on the project, and they really liked it. So they hired us they commissioned a script from us for it without any network involvement at all. So we basically wrote the script and then took a finished script to market and shopped it around as a spec, and then USA stepped up and basically said, do these 3 notes, and then we want to go make the pilot in the fall. And we did those notes, and they made the pilot. And we had this Oscar-winning director directed this guy, Juan Jose Campanella, who directed The Secret in Their Eyes. It won the Best Foreign Film back in 2010. It was the Argentinian film. He's terrific. And great cast. I mean, Josh Holloway, Sarah Wayne Callies, Tori Kittles, Peter Jacobson. I mean, just an amazing, amazing cast. Yeah. And the pilot, came out really well. I was really proud of it, and USA really liked it, and they put it off to series. So, the real secret is if you can, lash yourself to a Emmy-winning showrunner. I mean, that's a really easy way to draft your way into a position of success. So, yeah, I just, Carlton and I have a wonderful relationship, and I was prepared for the moment, but I got lucky at that time to be able to get into that room when he needed, somebody to write this insane Western, and I was a cowboy nut my whole life, and get to do it with magic and the undead. I was really excited about that. So that's how it all kind of came together. Now we just started the writers' room for season 3 on Colony now. So yeah. It's been going. It's been 4 years of my life now. So
with no end in sight, which is awesome.
No end in sight, exactly. Yeah.
Keep bringing the paychecks.
Don't tell my wife that.
So I rather than talk about the state of the industry, because we all know features are horrible and TV's good.
TV is great. I mean, it's great. Yeah.
So, but from if I can just shift a little bit. Writing-wise, I mean, when you're in the learning phase, and what did you do? At what point did you hit that moment that everybody who claims to be a writer is able to look at a script and say, you know what, I wrote this, but it's shit, And that seems to me to be that kind of line that you can cross between like, I'm really serious about being a writer, or I'm very protective of my material. I mean, how was that process for you, and what advice do you have, I guess?
I don't remember. I've always tended towards self-loathing, so I think I always hated everything that I did.
Yeah, I can relate.
And I messed so many things up through not just my writing career, but my whole young life. And the one thing that I did right was I never dwelled on a single script. I sort of wrote it. I let somebody that I trust look at it. They told me what they thought of it. And then generally I would go into the drawer and I would start the next thing. Because I knew, I was thinking flight hours. I just knew that I had to put, the 10,000 hours in behind the throttle just to get up on my feet where I could sit down and write a dramatic scene. I mean, it's not drawing. It's not something that you just have this innate skill for that you can instantly identify. Yes, that's it. You're good. You have an eye. You can look at that, sculpture or man and draw him on it's just a much different thing. So it just takes a long time to develop that. And even people that have the innate talent, they have to live and go out and experience the world in order to really be able to put it into dramatic context. So
would you put it in the drawer after one draft, or would you work on it for a while?
I would usually do like a draft and then a revision based on feedback, or based on just letting it sit and then going back and looking at it and saying this is what works, this is what doesn't. But what that gave me was, Galahad, which is the spec that I sold my first sale that broke me in and got me work for like 5 years. That was the 13th feature that I had written, and so I just had put in all this, and I'd written a sort of silly satire in there, and a fantasy thing, and a couple of sci-fi things, and a straight up drama, and a crime drama, and so I was not writing generally comedies, but I chose the dramatic side, the dramatic mask of the two masks, but I'd written all sorts of things in there. So, by the time I came out here, that's the thing they don't tell you, is like, you sell your first spec, great, but then the next trick is you have to go work for somebody else and be for hire, and they bring you a comic book or a book or a script that needs to be rewritten, and you have to have this, toolbox, and being able to, reach into it and find the right, diagnose the problem, the patient's dying on the table, or the patient needs to be turned. The patient is currently a graphic novel that needs to be turned into a script, and you need to be the engineer that's going to make that happen. So the experience that I had sort of unwittingly given myself through years of futility and frustration prepared me more for that moment than it would have had I made the mistake that I see so many writers make, which is the 30 drafts of the first script. Like, your first script sucks. It's going to suck. Mine sucked really bad. Just let it go and move on. That's the important thing. And write new things.
Right, but because you get, obviously, we had Malcolm Spellman in here a couple of months ago, and he said, from Empire, and he said one thing that frustrates him nowadays is that there are so many writers at our level who have so much access to information now, the technical information, and they're losing the kind of the creative risk-taking because they're doing paint-by-number scripts. And, there's so much information when you're writing. It's like, oh, but the third act is this, and the second act is there, and your protagonist at this page 16 should be here. And so I'm wondering, were you a fan of that kind of stuff, or were you just like, I'm just going to write this, and it's going to suck, and then I'm going to just move on to the next one, and then by process you start to learn? Do you know what I mean? Did you?
Yeah, look, structure is incredibly important, but it is not a... Structure is the best description of structure I've ever heard. I wish I could remember. It's like a David Mamet thing or something. It's some great, brilliant thinker. It's not mine. But it's basically Act 1, you get your character stuck in a tree. Act 2, you throw rocks at him. And in Act 3, you help him out of the tree. That is 3-act structure. So that is incredibly important. But the whole, like, on page 16, he has to save a cat thing is like, it drives me crazy because that's what you get. You get incredibly formulaic writing that comes back. What I don't like is the free-form sort of, this is a script about nothing, and we don't have a main character. That stuff that's the world of experimental, independent, film and things like that. So there's a happy hybrid. Thankfully, again, just a fortuitous accident. When I was trying to break in, I had Sid Field, I had that incomprehensible Robert McKee book that I still don't fucking understand. And then I had...
I did the 3-day thing.
God bless you.
Yeah, 12 hours a day for 3 days, you come out going, what?
The send-up of that in adaptation is just like so spot on. That book is so intimidating. I read it at a point where it could have shattered me. I could have read that book and been like, I will never understand this. I'm going back to trigonometry. But so the other thing that I had was Word Player, which I think is still around, which is Terry Rossio and Ted Elliott's site, where they write these little essays. They're like writer haikus about beachcombing and how to look for an idea and things like that. And that to me really spoke to me, because what they were talking about was, if you can go find, I'm sure there's an archive of them somewhere on the internet. There's like 50 or 60 different essays on one topic on writing, like how to find an idea, or how to write a compelling protagonist, or what makes a good villain. And I found these things and was really compelled by them. And these were two working writers. I mean, I think at that point they were most well known for Aladdin. They had not yet done the Pirates series. And I printed them all out, and I made a binder, and that became sort of my screenwriting book. And I would take notes in them and highlight things and go back and read passages. And a combination of that and then whatever scripts I could get my hands on, actual movie scripts, which at the time, again, was the 1990s and before PDF. So buying bootleg scripts in New York City. I grew up in New Jersey, so I would go into the city and just go find those tables where they were just selling, copies of whatever, which are often shooting scripts, which are less useful than the, director's draft, or the thing that's actually written to try to inspire talent without all the scene numbers and all that in it. But it was that stuff that I kind of drew from, and then I think it was a Ted and Terry recommendation. They said, you don't have to go to film school. You can put yourself through film school. Go to Blockbuster, and dates the site and myself, and rent, the AFI every year publishes...
Half the Reapers know what you're talking about.
I know. There were these things called stores. VHS tape. Yeah. It's a long time ago.
You had to wait to get a film.
That's right. If you didn't rewind it, you were in trouble.
That's true.
And they said, the AFI, American Film Institute, publishes the list of the top 100 films every year. And they said, those are the best 100 films of all time. Go, start at number 1, Citizen Kane usually, or Casablanca, depending on what year it was. Now I think it's Godfather. And just run down the list, watch all 100 films, and then study them. And as you're watching them, where's the first act end? Who's the main character? Who's the villain? What is the main character trying to accomplish? Those kind of central ideas that form a movie, and you see this incredible tapestry of things. And you get to watch. I mean, I was a Star Wars kid. I'd seen Empire Strikes Back 3,000 times. I'd never seen Lawrence of Arabia. But then you go see Lawrence of Arabia, and you realize that Lucas was so influenced in that, and when he was making Indy, and when he was making Star Wars, and all these connections start to come together when you watch the 100 great works of art in our art form. It was just eye-opening. So that, Word Player, writing a lot of scripts, reading as many scripts as I could get my hands on, it just kind of formulated this thing. And look, it has to be in you, and this happened to be, being a surgeon was not in me. Being a painter, an artist was not in me. This thing happened to be in me, and it took a long time to get out, but it eventually did. And that's the thing. Everybody has their own crazy path towards this. This was
but it's work.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the script comes from inspiration. Like I'm going to write, and a lot of the crap we're fed is like, I'm going to write for 48 hours and come up with a screenplay. And I'm just going to do a lot of cocaine or coffee, and here it will be. And it's like it seems to get the amount of work involved is what it's work.
Yes, and another book that I really liked was On Writing, which is Stephen King's memoir about. The book is half his memoir about his story, which is crazy and fascinating, and then the other half of the book is the how-to on how he did it, and he talked about. He talked about this thing that he would do where he would write 2,000 words every day. And whether it took him 8 hours or whether it took him half an hour, just this coke-fueled fury, depending on what period of his life it was in, he would sit there and make sure that he got it done. And he told all these stories about different authors. And this is, of course, prose writing. This is authors who write novels, not screenplays, but it all applies. This guy that was and I forget who the author was, he was so dedicated to this pages per day thing that he would actually finish a novel sometimes during one of those days, and he wouldn't celebrate if it was only 1,000 words in. He would put the novel in the drawer and then roll up the paper and start the second novel. And I was like, That is the Antichrist right there.
Right.
That man needs to be exterminated.
Yes.
So, but there, the stories in there, and King's story where, he was living below the poverty line. He's working next to I think the laundry machine in his like 1-bedroom, shanty in Bangor, Maine, on a card table on an old typewriter where like the K key didn't exist. I mean, it's just this crazy story. But that manuscript becomes Carrie, and then he sells it for this crazy amount of money. He quits his job, and then it's on. But the all the stuff, you hear that story, but you don't hear the 12 years of thankless dedication that went into it beforehand. And once all that stuff came together in my head, I was like, look, Ryan, this is going to take a very long time if it happens at all. So you have to try to enjoy doing the work and the dedication to the process. And I'd always been a hard worker. I was a good student, but I was a good student because I worked hard, not because I was the kid that could just sort of remember everything and do well on the test. So I was able to take that application and apply it to this, which is I'm just going to be the hardest working guy and outwork everybody else. And I'm going to do the 2,000 words a day or whatever, the 5 pages a day or whatever that translates into, and do it 6 days a week and just try to generate more pages than everybody. So 10 years from now, I have 16 scripts, and at some point somebody just has to say yes to one of them.
Unless you suck.
Correct.
Yes. Unless you genuinely suck.
Correct. There's a possibility that I still do suck, and nobody has just figured it out yet.
But I think it's hard if you're committing once you hit like 10 scripts. I don't think you can really completely suck. I mean, if you've done the work.
There is a level. There is a certain level that you can reach just by learning how to do the work, and the creativity is a part that makes it better. So instead of just the version of the scene that you expect, it's the different twist or the character that you don't expect to see come.
Last question, then we're going to get a couple of questions. Are you a believer in the cream rises to the top? Like if you work hard enough, you keep going, keep out there, keep putting the scripts in competitions, that kind of stuff, eventually?
Yes, absolutely. Right. It is still, to this day, such a meritocracy. I mean, unlike you poor actors who I feel terrible for on a daily basis, especially working with them now so regularly as I do in TV, like that is a whole different game. I don't have any advice for you other than stay with it. You guys are all very talented. You should keep doing it. But the writing thing is like there's no headshot on that screenplay page. It is purely based on the work that you were doing in the margins. And look, our first season I read 175 scripts looking for a writer's staff. Last year I had a little more help, so I read closer to 75 scripts. This year I had a lot more help, so I didn't need to fill as many positions, so I probably read 50 scripts. But that is something approaching 400 scripts that I've read in whole or in part over the last 4 years. I've read a lot of scripts, and when you're good, it jumps off the page, and it's just, and I don't know how to tell you what that is, but it is and you know it in 5 pages. It's happening. And that stuff doesn't just happen. Like, that could be that guy's 5th script or his 10th script, but he has put in work, she has put in work, she's done put in the flight hours and the time and all that. Right. So, yes, I fully believe that this is a meritocracy, and no matter who you are, race, color, creed, religion, home planet, I will hire a Japanese tentacle monster.
If it can write.
Yes, if it with its many tentacles can can write, and they accept animated creatures in my building, I will take it. I mean, it's that's the thing. It's just and I try. I don't even look at the cover page. I don't even want to know is it a male, female. I don't want to know anything. I just want to read the sample, and we've had great success finding writers that way.
All right, I'm going to go home and write now. Do we have any questions for Ron? Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for being here. I'm a huge fan of Colin, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, great, thanks.
And this actually is about what we were just talking about. So I've been fortunate. I've had a novella optioned. I've had a script contracted from a production company. I've gotten meetings at Sony, but yet to have something produced. And I'm just wondering, when you're reading samples, do you read any type of material, or is it only scripts? Would you look at a novella for sale? Would you look at a book? I mean, would you look in only the genre? So
No, I mean, more, definitely more dramatic writing. I mean, I have been submitted I met a couple of writers in the first 2 years off of interesting short stories. Those are a little harder because the tools that make for a great dramatic writer can be obscured by the art that is prose writing. So you can write incredible prose and be wonderful on the page as a short story writer, and that skill doesn't necessarily translate to being a drama writer, somebody that can write compelling drama that happens in what you can see and what you can hear, because in prose you can tell people what the character is thinking, right? But this year I have, this year I have, there's a writer on staff that we hired off having written a play. There's a writer on staff, our staff writer who had no staff experience at all before. We hired off of a awesome Western feature spec that he had written, which was incredible. So I will kind of read anything. I mean, I've read dramedies, sometimes a dark satire comedy, not a straight up sitcom or anything like that. But I actually read very little sci-fi. I'm not as interested in the sci-fi as I am in just straight up drama writing. I mean, the genre stuff, I have that sort of in me, so I'm not worried about coming up with cool genre ideas. What I need is writers that can come in the room, pitch character stories, and then put them up on the board and then go home and write compelling scenes, which is actually the hardest skill set that there is to find in TV. It's the rare thing, the person that can go write an interesting scene between two characters who want different things and are trying to work out their shit in a room together. So I'll kind of read anything, but it should be on the dramatic writing scale of things. So plays, features, pilots, that sort of thing.
Have you ever read a Colony spec?
No.
That'd be awkward.
Yeah, weird. I don't know that there's one out there. I would be fascinated.
We got one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got one.
Oh,
this
wow.
month. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
I can
I
send
like
it to you
that.
if you want. Yeah.
I probably legally can't accept that.
No, I don't think you can.
That'd be a big problem. So.
Anyone else? Yes.
Did you ever, in starting out, did you ever dabble in other sections of the business, like in different roles, or was it always just so focused on that?
No, I mean, I'm obsessed with movies. As a kid, my joke was that we went to the movie house church on Saturday, and on Sunday I went to regular church. It was like, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. It was just the heyday of film, and it was this wonderful magical world to me, and I idolized the filmmaking process, and that's what I wanted to do. But all I wanted to do was be a writer. I mean, sure, there's a possibility that the prospect of directing something someday would appeal to me, but I was not interested in doing any of the other crafts. I was never drawn to acting at all. Camera work is something that just sort of mystifies me. I don't really understand it. Yeah. Production design, I love it. I love great production. I have no idea how any of that stuff is done. So it was just the thing that I sort of responded to. Otherwise, I would just be a movie fan, which would have been totally fine for me too. So
just you'd be very thin.
Yes.
Anyone else? No, we're good. All right.
Cool.
Because we're late anyway. Ryan, thank you so much.
Yeah.
For coming. Everyone, Ryan, and just to let you know, our next reading is June 26th. We're open now for submissions, and I can confirm our next insider is Pamela Goldstein from Verve. She's a literary agent who I spoke with today, who is awesome, and she was recommended to us from Kate.
Oh, cool.
Because Kate was like, Verve's really hot. They're hungry and they're chasing young writers, So Pamela will be here on June the 26th. So if you know anybody who wants to submit, now is the time. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you, actors, again. Thank you. If you can hang around for a moment, take a photo.